Okay, this is Adam, and we're going to go on a bike ride from just above Lynn Road in Raleigh, North Carolina, on Six Forks Road towards North Hills Mall. This entire section is slated to be redone, hopefully as a boulevard. So you can see here's a bus stop. Terrible design, just nothing, no amenities for bus riders. I'm going to do a sidewalk ride because this road is extremely dangerous in its current setup for bicyclists. Unfortunately, I may encounter a few pedestrians who will have to share this narrow, old sidewalk with. The good news is, as I said, this entire stretch, I'm about right here at Lynn Road at this light, all the way up to Rowan Street, is slated for a total makeover. We're expecting global standard bicycle lanes, separated from traffic, nice brand new sidewalks, bus stops that include benches and shelters, and redesigned traffic lanes for cars. Now here we can see the overgrowth already into the sidewalk. And of course, no property owner is held accountable, nor the city, to maintain that. Here we come to a slip lane that's extremely dangerous. With nothing but a yield, they don't even have to illegally stop. We'll press both of these for good measure. As you can see here, Lynn Road has 2 lanes heading east, and it's over 4 lanes heading west at this moment. Both Lynn and Six Forks are major arteries. I do have a traffic signal giving me right of way as a pedestrian. I would not dare ride in the street right there with no facilities and a steep curb and gutter that I would run into if run off the road and fall. Another bus stop we just passed it, we didn't even notice it. Overgrowth hanging too low into the sidewalk. The other part of this plan is for widening this section for traffic lanes for cars with 3 lanes each direction. I can imagine these property owners here, these homes, are not going to be very pleased with the encroachment into their yards. Already, the fence line is just behind this overgrowth. Now, look at this situation here. This is the current status for pedestrians. The city can't even seem to maintain this sidewalk and send it throughout and keep it cut. Yet somehow they're going to find a way to make this world-class boulevard and maintain that for years to come into perpetuity. Another useless bus stop. It's got a trash can at least to prevent some litter. Now Sandy Forks Road to my left was redesigned with a new bike lane, and it's really hard to imagine how it passed any muster given that it's an on-street bike lane. The entire road was redone, curbs, everything. Look at this car trying to run me down. And that road, just unbelievable. It was designed from scratch, and a painted bike lane was put in instead of a separated bike path. And we can see graffiti on the ground from utilities who have total disrespect and disregard for the importance of this infrastructure that they're riding over. They care about their domain, underground utilities, but aren't respecting that the sidewalk is just not to be spray painted permanently for their own needs, for marking it up. There's a water infrastructure point. So this is kind of a desolate spot to be walking in any case, or biking. I can't imagine many people wanting to walk or bike right here in this spot, other than they could get from point A to point B and do it safely. They want to get away from this particular area. Or if they're going here all of a sudden back to office buildings, other commercial uses. At an apartment complex. Here you can see a car has totally demolished this wall. Imagine if you're a bicyclist right there. We're coming up on Millbrook Road, intersection with Six Forks, which is one of the major traffic bottlenecks in the entire city of Raleigh. There's a very high volume of traffic in each direction, and there have been fatalities at this intersection. There was a crash where a pedestrian was killed just about a year or so ago up at this intersection. There is a nearby middle school, elementary school, and Sanderson High School where my kids attend. Nearby and walking distance. So children who live in some of these apartments around here or homes, even single family residences, whatever. People live around here and go to school and work. This is pretty much the central intersection point of a lot of activity. And you do often see teenagers walking here. There's a nice bus stop. People running a lot. Look at that one. That was a run if I ever saw one. That person had plenty of time to stop. And of course there's no police presence whatsoever to sanction that bad behavior.
Wait.
We have a fully signalized pedestrian crossing. The paint is a bit worn. The asphalt is a bit tore up right there. An elderly person could easily trip, or a disabled person would have trouble navigating this type of terrible condition on a wheelchair. Just got a general ramshackle feel of this whole intersection, even though it's a centerpiece of daily activity for thousands of people around here who pass through this. This should be redesigned entirely. I believe the plans call for just another signalized intersection with now 6 lanes of through traffic instead of 4, plus turn lanes in all directions. Here comes another cyclist. That's great. He's brave to ride on that street. Very brave. There's a pedestrian. This is an active spot, as I said. This would actually make a good spot for a full-on roundabout. It's got the right volume, type of land. There's nothing here. It's just an empty space that nobody ever uses in front of this church. There's absolutely no reason for all that. It's just wasted space. It could be public space. Turn into a roundabout to increase traffic flow and safety. Here's the elementary school I mentioned. This crosswalk was recently redone. Again, overgrowth throughout, as if there has not been a crew out here in years to trim any of this brush. The city has completely neglected its responsibility to maintain the sidewalk as possible. There's broken concrete. There has been some repairs done to trim off edges of the concrete that have shifted and settled. Whoa! Whoa! The fuck, dude? Did you see that? That guy just absolutely almost tried to run me down. Obviously I saw him and was able to stop in plenty of time. But I had the right of way, so I was kind of thinking he was just really going to stop and I could continue on. But he had no intention of stopping unless I really caught up in front of him. He was totally making me, he thought he could make me wait. Of course I have this GoPro, so if he had hit me I would have evidence. So I encourage everybody to use cameras if you plan to ride on any street in America. You should document it. The risk is real. Now these older homes, many of them are slated for rezoning to commercial activity. And here you can see one, and this home has been turned into a yoga place, or orthodontics, whatever. It's actually quite common on the stretch. And I believe actually all of the properties here and like a master plan with the city of Raleigh are intended to become more commercial and dense, which is a good thing and supports the idea of a boulevard. But frankly, with the traffic widening plan and the increased pollution and noise that will come from this project, I don't know anybody who would really want to have a single family residence fronting this particular road as we have it now. And unfortunately, I'm not super optimistic that this will become some grand boulevard as promised. I believe the plans as they were released to the public will be watered down. The bicycle, pedestrian, and transit infrastructure promises will be watered down, and the car infrastructure will be expanded. One of the things that's already contentious is the width of the lanes. Up here, the lanes are relatively narrow. I'm going to go on it real quick. So we can see this is about a 10 or 11 foot lane, and there's been complaints about that. And it's hard to believe, but one of the justifications is actually that, well, cars nowadays are bigger, so we should accommodate them, which I find to be absolutely absurd. And we should accommodate the street for humans, and anybody who chooses to exercise their privilege of driving a motor vehicle should choose one that respects the space and the environment and the community around them. And they're such a naive and inconsiderate loser to decide to buy a vehicle that's larger than the road is designed for, or to drive a farm vehicle in public space, then they should yield to our needs as citizens. It's absolutely absurd. The whole notion that we need to widen the lanes themselves to 12 feet minimums to support larger cars. It's ridiculous on the first order, but that's our community for you. Hopefully that view is not shared by all. On the left is Carroll Middle School. There is a small sidewalk you see that John was walking on, but actually on the street level there's no sidewalk in front of the school. Obviously that's going to be done with this whole new project, so that's something optimistic to look forward to. This office building on my right has an unnecessary double entrance on this street. There should only be one entrance. We need to cut back on the number of intersections with the main road. We need to reduce break points here. Like this one right here as well. I think we have a back entrance. There's another entrance to this church, and it could be reduced to one instead of two exits. This creates a conflict point for pedestrians and children. Right here at this school, it's affiliated with the church, but there's always children there, and it would be nice if they had better infrastructure and safer. But this is the end of the project plan right here. The biggest question I have of all is what's going to happen to this spot as soon as the project's over. And what I've seen with these projects is the project is supposed to end at Rowan Street, which is this intersection right here, and it will literally just end. If you come up a beautiful bike lane that they're planning to build, that's in some drawings, totally separated at grade with the sidewalk, it's beautiful, and it comes to the street, where do you go next? The commercial district just begins at the next light. So I now have to do what? What do I do from here? It's absolutely absurd. Why does this, even if the plan for the car infrastructure should end right here, it would make a lot of sense for the bikeway and sidewalk project to continue ahead. I'll show you why. Because right up here, beyond the fire station, is a major shopping district called North Hills that is actually quite walkable. I'm literally going another 50 to 100 feet past one facility, the fire station. And right here we've got all kind of stores and restaurants. And right here is a dangerous intersection. It will not be redesigned. It's not part of the plan. Here we've got coffee shops and you name it. So it really is stunning that the project ends 50 or 100 feet before it needs to. We'll see how that actually plays out in practice, if there actually is any good bicycle infrastructure, or if that really connects into this parking lot at least, so the pedestrian could end up walking nicely over here to these amenities and spend more money for the local businesses. Okay, everyone, that's my review of the Six Forks biking situation from Lynn Road to Raleigh.